Hello, I'm Vanita Hampton-Wright with the Loyola Press blog Days of Deepening Friendship, an online community of women growing wiser. And today I have with me a guest, although he's not really a guest, he's a colleague, Jim Manny. He also is an editor, as I am, and he has a blog here as well called Dot Magus. It's a blog about Ignatian spirituality. We're in July, and July 31st is the feast day of St. Ignatius of Loyola. And so around here on our blogs and our business in general, we celebrate and focus on the life of St. Ignatius of Loyola and also Ignatian spirituality. So today Jim and I are just going to have a conversation to talk a little bit about those topics. So we'll start with the question, and the first question I have for you, Jim, is, you know, you've been dealing with Ignatian spirituality as a writer and as an editor and a reader and a practicing Christian for a number of years. What did you find most attractive or most compelling about the spirituality of St. Ignatius of Loyola?
I think the most attractive thing to me when I finally understood what Ignatian spirituality was all about is how practical and down to earth it is. What people often say about Ignatian spirituality is that it's a way of finding God in all things. And that doesn't mean that all things are God, that's pantheism, but all things is where God can be found. And particularly in our relationships, in our work, in the practical day-to-day life that we all lead, God can be found there. God can be found sitting in traffic. God can be found standing in line at the grocery store, which is something that I particularly dislike. And by finding God there, that doesn't mean that you intellectually kind of understand where God is. You engage God. The Holy Spirit is present. It's a relationship. It's a reciprocal encounter. So it's an active spirituality. It's something that's something that I've come to appreciate. You know, you and I are Facebook friends, and almost every day I've noticed that you put a post on Facebook about the things that you love about your life.
Yeah.
And then you talk about very specific things, the work you do, the relationships you have. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I think I've learned that from dealing with Ignatian spirituality. I think for me, particularly as a writer, as someone who I consider myself an artist as a writer, I really appreciate the Ignatian value for the imagination. You know, Ignatius in the spiritual exercises, he uses the imagination a lot in the prayer exercises. This is something that's honored as part of how God speaks to us and works with us in prayer. And so I've been particularly pleased with really, you know, being able to open that up for people, whether it's through retreat work on the blog or just in day-to-day dealings and workshops to help people trust their imaginations as a place where the Holy Spirit can also dwell and lead us and guide our prayers and guide our dreams.